Hi, welcome to While Away with Us. I'm Eric.
And I'm Wendy Verdew. We spent a year traveling Europe, and we've gotten so many questions about our trip that we thought we would do a series of videos answering those questions.
We hope you like it. If you do, please click on like, feel free to subscribe, and leave a comment below if we didn't answer your question.
Well, let's get on to the questions.
What was the rudest place you visited? See, when you go traveling and you make an effort, pretty much you get what you give. You know, Wendy and I are naturally friendly people and polite people, so we never received hostility from anybody. Oh, in Barcelona, I remember now. So we're staying at an Airbnb and it has a little balcony. And the balcony overlooks the balcony on the house right across the street. And I'm out there and there's this older gentleman, I want to say maybe 70s, and he's doing his laundry. Now again, it's like if you're out on your balcony having your cup of coffee, it's obvious you're out there. It's not like you can overhear their TV in their house. And so he kind of looks over at me and I'm like, want to be nice, right? I just moved in. I'm like, hola. ¿Cómo estás? How are you? And he looks at me and he's kind of like, who's this stranger talking to me? And I don't even think he waved, and that was it. He went back in. Then another day he comes out and I'm asking, and he starts to engage in conversation in Spanish. And he's like, where are you from? And I'm like, the United States. And he goes, and I'm like, wow, well, that was hostile. The thing is Barcelona is the part of Spain that is seeking independence from Spain. And so they have all these posters and flags for an independent region, not just Barcelona, but an independent region. And the United States is against that. The United States is with Madrid, the capital, to keep the country unified. And so I think his was because I'm from the country that wants to keep them part of Spain and not an independent nation. So
he warmed up a little.
You know what? Hello? Stupid American, just not getting what your point is. I would have kept ticking that guy off for months.
You would have worn him down. He would have been inviting you over. So you may disagree with this. I don't speak Spanish. Eric does. So for somebody who doesn't speak it, Spain speaks very little English. I mean, even in some of the big like Madrid.
Yes, we were surprised by that.
I can't say that that's unfriendly because it's not, but because of the language barrier for me,
right?
It felt that way sometimes, because if you can't communicate, then how are you feeling this openness and this friendliness? Would you do it again? And if so, would you do anything differently?
Well, we hope to do it again.
Yes, we would do it again, and that is our plan to do it again.
Except this time even longer.
Actually, we had a plan. So we're in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic, of course, and we had booked a cruise from Tampa, Florida, to Barcelona, Spain. And it would have arrived the middle of April 2021. And that would have started another 15 months in Europe. Kind of doing the same thing, but this time...
We were going to stick to one town and not bounce around as much.
Right. And
more
countries instead of 1 month. Yeah. Instead of 3 months in a country, maybe bouncing around more. But the cruise was canceled, and then we've got all these restrictions, so that's been put on the back burner. And we have a U.S. trip that we're going to do. We want to go see some national parks and go out west and just see some of the natural beauty that the United States has to offer. But that's also just a bridge to get us back to Europe. So we absolutely would do it again and do plan on doing it again. Yeah. And what we would do different and what we need to do different, because it will make such a difference in what we get from our trip, is to put ourselves out there. I mean, looking back on it, like I said, it's my regret that we didn't do that. Especially, I mean, the highlights of my trip are where we made relationships with people. We're going to invite them in, and if we have to, make some cookies and take them to the neighbors to, open up, a relationship with people, then I'm going to be Betty Crocker. So really want us both to make a big effort to push ourselves to make relationships.
Did you go to the doctor while traveling, Wendy?
Yes, I did.
Before you start that, one of the things when we talk about the doctor is that when we made this trip, we went without any health insurance and fortunately without any health issues. So we were banking that, we're not going to fall and break an arm because we had no idea what to do if that was going to be the case. We figured we'll handle it on the fly if that happens. So just understand, we start off with like no medical issues going on, minor prescription things. Go ahead.
And I'll speak to those as well. So I have, I do take 2 prescriptions. I have my doctor work with me. I got insurance to cover what they would, and the rest, about a half a year, I had to pay for out of pocket, but it wasn't a big deal. My prescriptions weren't expensive, so.
And you took those with you ahead of time?
And took them with me, yeah. One thing that happened, and I did get different illnesses, especially early on in Spain. I think it just kind of wore my body down.
Virus.
I had a stomach thing. I had like some kind of bad cold.
Damn.
So different things. And during all those, we were doing workaways. So our host with Lynn and Rosemary took me to the pharmacy. And the pharmacy, you just tell them what your symptoms are, and they give you what for us in the States would be a prescription. So there's no doctor needed. They just hand you over this, again, what we would call a prescription. And I would say that those drugs were about equivalent what we would pay in the U.S. with insurance. With insurance. So, like what you would think of as your copay was an equivalent. I was fortunate enough to go to the doctor in a foreign country. In Cyprus, I was sick. Eric and I suspect maybe it was the coronavirus. We had just left Italy.
When we got to Cyprus, the news was then that this thing was ravaging Italy. Didn't know what it was. And Wendy was sick for a month. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was really bad. So I had just kind of general aches and pains, and then a cough came. Well, I just wasn't getting better. I felt so bad. And I started thinking, I'm really sick. I think I need to go to the doctor, which, is the last thing you really want to do. I mean, it's one thing to go to a drugstore and say, I'm coughing, give me cough medicine, which, in fact, I did do.
So see, she was about 1 week in with just laying in bed with these symptoms. Then we decided to go to the doctor. So just give you an idea of timeline. So it's a week of constantly feeling very, very poor, bedridden. How did we find a doctor? We were staying at the Airbnb, and we had the host's phone number, and he spoke English.
Another case where the host helped out.
Yeah, well, I called the host, and I said, my wife is very ill, and we want to take her to a doctor. How do we do this? And he said, there's Santa Maria Clinic. And Google Santa Maria Clinic, Larnaca, Cyprus. Boom, there it is, driving directions to it. It was like 3 miles from our place. And like Wendy said, we just parked and walked in, and there was no excessive forms to fill out.
To me, it almost seemed kind of like a walk-in clinic, but yeah. I don't know if that was the case or not. They weren't busy. And the first time I went, he, checked my lungs with the stethoscope and just asked about my issues. Told me to take this certain cough medicine. It was a different one than what I had already been taking. And that was it. It was about the same. I want to say that first time was like $80.
Was it?
80 euro, somewhere around there. The funny thing is I went 3 times, and every time it would reduce. So like the next time it was $60, and the last time it was $40. But I just wasn't getting better. And again, it you know, being so far away from home, first of all, it was the first time on the trip where I just wanted to be home. You want to be in your own bed, you know, there's some comfort to that. And I felt so bad that I was kind of scared, you know, of something was really wrong. So the third time I went, they took an x-ray to make sure that my lungs were clear. And he said, if it does not get any better in 3 days.
Yeah. If the drugs haven't yet kicked in.
Then I don't know what else to do but hospitalize you. And
then
that,
perform in-depth tests.
I think that scared me into getting better. I can't say I got better. I didn't get worse. And it was a slow, long recovery. I mean, even after the coughing stopped, which it went on forever.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt bad, and it just took me forever to get my energy and strength back. But as far as the care I received, you know, I was satisfied with it. I didn't think, and without insurance, I didn't think it was an ungodly amount. That last time I went and got an x-ray, I mean,
they did an x-ray?
Yeah. The last time
I was in the waiting room.
The last time I got a chest x-ray here, it was about $1,000. So, and that last visit was $40. So like I said, it dropped down every time.
X-ray.
Anyway, having done that, I don't think I would be so scared in the future. I think a lot of the fear too was just the unknown, you know, and you don't want to be stuck in a hospital bed in a foreign country.
Well, thanks for stopping by and giving a listen. And we look forward to getting out our next video.